أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا ومن يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وإذا أخذنا وقال الله تعالى وإذا أخذنا ميثاقكم ورفعنا فوقكم الطور خذوا ما آتيناكم بقوة واذكروا ما فيه لعلكم تتقون ثم توليتم من بعد ذلك فلولا فضل الله عليكم ورحمته لكنتم من الخاسرين ولقد علمتم الذين اعتدوا منكم في السبت فقلنا لهم كونوا قردة خاسئين فجعلناها نكالا لما بين يديها وما خلفها وموعظة للمتقين. So these are the verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, the verse number 63 up to 66. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and when we took the covenant from you and lifted the mountain over you, take hold of our signs, the Torah, with the strength. وَاذْكُرُوا مَا فِيهِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, and remember what is in it so that you may be protected. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala given to Bani Israel the Torah, and Allah told them to follow the Torah, so you will be safe from the punishment of Allah. ثُمَّ تَوَلَّيْتُمْ بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ فَلَوْلَا فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَتُهُ لَكُنْتُمْ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. Then after that, the most of them, they turned away from the teachings of Torah. So were it not for the grace of Allah and His mercy on you, you would certainly have been among the losers. So the same thing happened with the Bani Israel, that when Allah given them the Torah, the most of them, they did not follow the Torah. And the same thing happening with the Muslims today, the Ummah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu. Allah has given them the Quran, but they are not following the Quran. While ago we were watching the miracles of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, and we found out the greatest miracle of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu is Quran. And what kind of miracle was the Quran is? Like the Prophet Jesus, Prophet Isa, the greatest miracle of the Prophet Jesus or Prophet Isa, when he touched to the dead person become alive by the will of Allah. He just has to say, Qum biiznillah. Tayo ka sa pangalan ng Allah. He stand up with the command of Allah. That was the greatest miracle of Prophet Isa or Prophet Jesus alayhi salam. But the miracle of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was much greater than the miracle of Prophet Jesus alayhi salam. The miracle of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was the Quran. And because of the Quran, a dead nation became alive. A dead nation. Who was the dead nation? The Arabs. The whole of the Arabia, especially in Makkah. If you read the history before the arrival of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the people in Arabia were the dead people. Nobody wants to rule on them. Neither the Persians, the two superpowers, and neither the Byzantine, the Romans. They don't want to rule on them. They said these are the wild animals. They are the worst of the people. If you rule on them, you get trouble. Magulo. Ayaw nila ng lahat ng mundo yung Arabia. They don't like the Arabia. What was the reason? Because they were worse than the animals. This was a dead nation, yung tao na patay. A dead nation, completely dead. They worship the idols. They put inside the Kaaba 360 idols. For every day, one idol. Yung mga reboldo. They make the worship of Allah, they make the worship to the idols because they also believe in Allah. And beside Allah, they worship 360 idols. And when they make the sambahin, the worship, one of the rituals is to take off the clothes. No need to wear the clothes. Yung samba nila hubad. They worship naked. It is one of the rituals. They have to take off all the clothes before they can go for worship. They kill each other. They kill each other. And they make the fightings between the tribes. And sometimes the fights continue for 100 years. More than 100 years. There was a very well-known fight which was between the two tribes for 40 years. For 40 years, the two tribes were fighting, and thousands of people killed on both sides. And that fight with the reason of only one camel. Yung dahilan ng gera na 40 taon, dahil sa isang kamilyo lang. Just for one camel. They fight for 40 years. Just because of a camel. They eat the blood. They eat the pigs. They commit the fornications. There were lots of women who were prostitutes. Those women who are prostitutes, they put the flag on their house, flag. It means the woman inside is available for prostitution. The men can go inside, and when that woman will become pregnant, then if the 10 men goes to her, these 10 men will become the father of that boy. 10 fathers of a boy. And sometimes they have another system in their culture. They have to put a raffle. If this 10 person, the 10 fathers, they put the raffle and they will pick the one. They will pick the one of the raffle and they say, okay, you are the father now of that boy. That kind of people they were. The worst people, the dead people, they have no education, no scientific knowledge, no industry, nothing. They have only one art, they speaking art. They speak a very good way. They are the poets, they make the poems. That was their art only. To make the good talking, nothing else. They were the burden on the world. They don't make any export or they don't make any business around the world. They do not have any manufacturing, no production, nothing. They just like to kill each other, fight each other. Why? Because they were misguided. But when the Quran was given to them, they become the best people of the world. They rule from Africa until Asia, until Europe, until Spain. The same people, nobody likes them, nobody rule on them. They say they are the worst kind of people, they are dead people, but that nation become the superpower of the world. And they bring the culture, the science, the agriculture, the buildings, the navigations, physics, chemistry, biology. All the basic modern science was originated from that people because of the Quran. So Quran is the greatest miracle of all the time. And that greatest miracle was the miracle of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The greatest miracle of all the time. Which not only given the life to one person, but given the life to whole nation. Whole the nation become alive. And they become the champions of the world. All the industry, all the manufacturing, all the science, the chemistry, the biology, astronomy, physics, everything was started after the Quran. All those the inventions we can see today, the airplanes or cameras or videos or watches or mobile phones or the lights, this all was because of the initial knowledge which came out through the Muslims because of the Quran. For example, the well-known person, the father of surgery, Abul Qasim, in Spain, a Muslim scientist. He is known as, even today, he is known as the father of surgery. 1000 years ago, he innovated the 200 surgical instruments like scissor, the forceps, and all kind of surgical instruments. He innovated 1000 years ago 200 instruments, and those instruments are still using in the modern hospitals. Another example is Jabir bin Hayyan. The Jabir bin Hayyan, he produces the 200 chemicals, which are the most beneficial chemicals in the world. And the three among them are the three acids: nitric acid, hydrochloric acid, and sulfuric acid. These are the industrial acids, which is very important in industries, and also for the someday, like hydrochloric acid, they use for many other purposes. So the Quran is the greatest miracle. So why the Muslims are in trouble today? Why we can see the Muslims are fighting each other, killing each other? They have no producing innovations, no industries, only mostly making loco. Why? Because Muslims are not following the Quran anymore. The same thing, Jahiliyyah. Don't you see the Muslims today, they are same like the Makkah people before? Don't you see that? The Makkah people fighting for 40 years for the camel. Do you see the Muslims like that? Do you see the Muslims like this? They're fighting for small things. Fighting for the chicken only. Fighting for the small things. Because Muslims are Muslims only, but they don't follow the Quran. They don't even understand the Quran. You can see all around the world, anywhere in the world, the Muslims are giving the bad example because of no awareness of Quran. How much more you can follow the Quran if you do not understand the Quran? The Muslims are claiming that we have millions of Hafiz of Quran, subhanallah. Hafiz of the Quran, but the Hafiz of the Quran do not understand the single word of the Quran. He just memorize it. And he said, I'm Hafiz. I can lead the Tarawih without seeing the Quran. He is boosting. Say, I'm Hafiz. I can read the Quran, no reading, no watching the Quran. I just lead you the Quran with my brain. But he don't understand the Quran. What is the use of the memorizing the Quran when you do not understand the Quran? The Quran is the most readable book in the world. Everybody agrees with that. The Quran is the most readable book in the world. Because there are millions of people, they are reading the Quran, of course. But there is another record of the world record. The Quran is also the book which is the most ununderstandable book in the world. Quran is the book which is reading without understanding. The number one book in the world, which people they read it without understanding. Just for the sawab. Just for the rewards. Yes, I get so many rewards. I read the Quran, I get rewards, subhanallah. Where is the guidance? The purpose of the Quran is the guidance. Because Allah started the Quran with the guidance. In the Surah Al-Fatiha, Allah said to us, Ihdina Surat al-Muslimin, ask to Allah that Allah guide me to the straight way. When we start the Surah Al-Baqarah, Alif Lam Mim Dhalika al-Kitabu la rayba fihi hudan lil muttaqin. That is the book, no doubt in it, guidance for the pious, guidance for those who fear Allah. So Quran is started with the guidance, talks about the guidance. So Quran is the most readable book, and Quran is the most readable without understanding book in the world. Reading by the millions, but understanding by very, very few people. Maybe 1,000 out of 1 person will not understand the Quran. Thousands are reading, maybe even the 1 person is not understanding. You just read it only. And the number one for that case is my own place, Pakistan or India or Bangladesh. There are millions of people, they read the Quran, they don't understand a single word. Prophet Muhammad said, there will be people coming, they will twist the word of the Quran, they will read it in a very beautiful way. They will twist the words of the Quran. They will read in a very beautiful way. But the Quran will not go under their throat. Nabi Sallallahu said, the Quran will not go under their throat. Means it will not be going in the heart. They just read with the words. Nothing. Not going to the brain, not going to the heart, not going to your actions. So Allah said that the most of the Bani Israel, they turn away. They did not follow the Torah. The same thing happening with the Muslims today. Allah has given to them the Quran, but they do not follow. Rather, they do not, and also they do not bring it to the non-Muslims. And on the contrary, they say they want to kill them all. They're not bringing the message and they want to kill them all. Subhanallah. How injustice is this? So may Allah guide us to follow the Quran and not to be like the examples of the Bani Israel. The last two verses, the 65 and 66. وَلَقَدْ عَلِمْتُمُ الَّذِينَ أَعْدَدُوا مِنْكُمْ فِي السَّبْتِ فَقُلْنَا لَهُمْ كُونُوا قِرَدَةً خَاسِئِينَ. And surely you have known those among you who exceeded the limits in the Saturday, 7th day. Saturday is not the right word. The right word is 7th day. Because the Saturday is the 7th day. What is the first day? What is the first day of the week? First day of the week. Ahad, Yawmul Ahad. The Sunday is the first day of the week. Yawmul Ahad, Yawmul Isnain, Yawmul Talata, Yawmul Arba, Yawmul Khamis. Khamis, 5th day, Thursday. Yawmul Jum'ah, the day of gathering. Jum'ah means gathering. Yawmul Sabt, in Arabic, Yawmul Sabt is 7th day. Today is Saturday. Saturday is the 7th day. So there was a time when Allah commanded to the Bani Israel to not make a business on Saturday, on the 7th day. Means 6th day you can work, 7th day you just worship of Allah. No need to work anything. Day off. But that law is abrogated. Allah cancelled that law. Now you can work 7 days a week. Only in the Friday, the time of the Salah, stop working. And finish the Salah, Allah said, فَإِذَا قَضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةُ فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَابْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ. And when you finish the Salah, spread in the earth, look the bounty of Allah. So even the Friday now is a special day, Yawmul Jum'ah. You don't need to stop working all day, only for the time of Salah. وَإِذَا نُودِيَ لِلصَّلَاةِ مِنْ يَوْمِ الْجُمْعَةِ فَاسْتَوْا إِلَى ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَذَرُوا الْبَيْعَ. When you hear the azan on the Yawmul Jum'ah, stop the business and go towards the Salah. And leave off the business, only for 1 hour. But Muslims, they do not follow. Go anywhere in the world. Go in Kyapo, go in Pakistan, go in any part of the Muslim world. Already azan call for Jummah, people are doing the business. This only in Makkah and Medina I see. That is a good thing, which I see and I appreciate it. Only in Makkah and Medina. When the azan called in the Jummah, everybody is running to Salah, Masjid. That is the best thing I see in Makkah and Medina. The best thing. Not only in Jummah, in every Salah. In every Salah, when azan called, everybody close the business and they run to the Masjid. That is the greatest thing I see in Makkah and Medina. The only place in the whole world where the Muslims are practicing this. Azan and they just go to the Masjid. Only in Makkah and Medina. Not any part of the world. And not all in Makkah and Medina, but most of the people, they run to the Masjid. They go to the Masjid. They immediately close their stores and their business. So Bani Israel were commanded by Allah. And Allah said, and certainly you have known those among you who exceeded the limits of the Sabbath, the 7th day. When Allah commanded not to do the business, and their livelihood, hanap buhay nila, was the fishing. So they were not doing the fishing on Saturday, 7th day, Sabado. Sabado means 7th, diba? Sabado is 7th, Sabbath. Now Allah wanted to test them, trial, subuk, fatan. Before they are not doing business on Saturday, no fishing on Saturday, they worship to Allah. Now Allah sent the lots of fish on Saturday. Allah commanded the fish to go to the seashore, to the seaside. When the Bani Israel see so many fish coming on the Saturday, they should have to think, why is Saturday fish coming? They should understand that it is the trial from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because other days, no fish. But Saturday, fish comes to the seaside. They should have to think of that. They should not be fall on the trap of the shaitan to start and go and fishing. They should think that Allah is testing them. Subuk na Allah. Why the Saturday fish coming on the seaside? But they lose their mind because of their greediness, because of their greedy. Because of the greedy, they lose their mind. They cannot think that it is a trial from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They started to make a plan. What is their plan? They are not going to get the fish, no. They don't do the fishing. They just make the holes. Holes. They make the many holes on the seaside. So when they make the many holes, hukai, butas, the water will comes and stay in the hole. So many fish are stay there in the holes. Marami na isda iwan sa butas. So many fish left on the holes. They go on the Sunday morning, the first day of the week. They go on the Sunday morning, they collect the fish. They bring home to eat and to sell in the market. The prophets told them that you are doing wrong. You collected the fish on Saturday, then you just pick up on Sunday. You are trying to deceive Allah. Then Allah knows this. You're doing wrong. When the Prophet warned them, they did not follow the Prophet. They say, no. That's Sunday. We get the fish on Sunday. That's not Saturday. But they catch the fish on Saturday. But they pick up the fish on Sunday. So what Allah did to them? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَقُلْنَا لَهُمْ كُونُوا خِرَدَةً خَاسِئِينَ. So we said to them, be you monkeys, humiliated, despised and hated, despised, humiliated, insulted. So Allah commanded those people that they will be transformed, they transform into monkeys. Sila na maging hunggoy because of doing the monkey business. So if any Muslims are doing that, then Allah is also making them monkeys, because even though they work hard like the monkeys, but they are not getting better. It's still the same, not growing better. Many Muslim countries, they make the fake products, but their condition is not getting better. They're struggling and struggling, but no growth, because they become like monkeys now. Because monkey work hard and whole day will get only one banana. So the Muslims are trying to cheat with the people, but what happened to them? They don't have any malls. There are lots of Muslims, they sell the fake. So many fake things, but they do not make any mall until now. They do not have big buildings in Makati. No growing, no barakah, because of cheating people. For example, the one of the richest man in the world was Bill Gates. What is his company? Microsoft. The millions of people, they cheat Microsoft producing the fake softwares for Microsoft. What happened to the Bill Gates? Nothing happened to him. He is still growing. He was one time, he was the richest man in the world. And now he's giving away his money to the poor. He don't like the money anymore. He is giving away his money in the world to the poor people in the world. So when you cheat people, Allah will destroy you. And you not cheat people, Allah will grow you. So not literally, but in metaphorically, those people who are cheating in the world today, Allah is still making them monkeys, because they will become humiliated like monkeys. So this is the story of the people of 7th day, the Saturday. And then, by the way, this rule was abrogated. Even it's approved from the Bible, that rule was abrogated. It is no longer existed. So if somebody is going to make this, is still existing, then he is fooling himself, because God already cancelled that rule. It's not existing anymore. The special day of worship today is Jum'ah, the Friday. So that punishment, Allah said that the people was transformed to the monkey. So we made them an example to those who witnessed it and those who come after it. So it's an example for all of us. If we try to be a monkey business, then we'll become monkey also. Not literally, but at least metaphorically. So stop doing the monkey business. No cheating, no deceiving, no selling the fake glasses, fake watches, fake clothes, fake pearls, fake DVDs, everything fake. If you do this, then Allah is going to make you monkeys. You will not grow, but you will be just struggling like a monkey. Nothing you will get but except one banana. You will not get anything except a banana. Just nothing. Cannot survive. You have a lots of example for this. And Allah make these people as example. Those come after it. And admonition to those who are fearful to Allah. So we should stop doing the deceiving. Like the people did. And Allah punished them always. The old examples in the Quran, like the people of Shuaib alayhi salam, when they make timbang, they deficiate, they cheat. So Allah destroyed them all because of that. For example, one of our brother, a policeman, he make the business of rice. I gave him the advice and he appreciated it very much. I said, when you give the 10 sacks of rice, 50 kilo, but sometimes the rice is not 50 kilo because basa dati and then became dry. So it becomes 49.5 kilo. Less than 50 kilo because of traveling. Because sometimes the moisture dry up and then the weight will become less. Every sack 100, 200 grams is lacking. So I told him, when you sell the 10 sacks of rice, put on the timbang and check. It is 499 kilo, charge only 499 kilo. Don't charge 500 kilo. That's we should do because we learn like that. We have to be sure that we are not going to cheat anybody. So that was my message. Now any question, and inshallah we can have our dinner. Just faster.
You said about the fish incident.
Yes.
Is the Paris is very strict in the law about the Sabbath. Until this day, they're very strict until this day. About the elevator. If you press the elevator, it means more to break the Sabbath. Or eating food, you break the Sabbath. Wearing clothes heavy, you break the Sabbath.
Who?
The Jews today.
Okay.
Modern day.
Yeah, so there are some strict Jews, they are still observing the Sabbath, but it is not anymore ruled by Allah. This is already abrogated according to the Torah, according to their books, in their scriptures. So they are doing it that this is not necessary for them to do. So it's no more longer, because when Allah sent the Torah, and when Allah made this rule, but Allah said now the Quran, and the Quran said, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu idha nudiya lis-salati min yawmil jum'ati fas'au ila dhikrillahi wa dharul bay'. Oh, you believe? When you hear the azan on the day of Jum'ah, leave off your business. So it means this is a special day now, Jum'ah, because Allah sent the new book, the last book. So when there is a new rule comes, the old rule is abrogated. And not only because of the Quran, even before the Quran revealed, that law was abrogated in the scriptures before. Okay. Yes, Abu Bakar. Walaikum salam. Rahmatullah.
My question is about the situation of the Middle East. When you said that Middle East was dead, the people...
Not Middle East, Arabia.
Now I'm wondering what happened to the...
Because the Sham was flourishing that time. Sham.
Because the world is composed of 7 continents. Asia, Europe, North America...
Not 7 countries, continents.
No, continents.
Continents.
Asia, Europe, South America, North America...
And Hulu Sulu.
And Australia. The
Okay.
continent of...
Not Hulu Sulu? Okay.
But I just want to know, tell me why the other countries, because Middle East is part of Asia. The largest
Asia.
continent.
Yes.
The other 6 continents, what happened to them? What are they doing? They do not go migrate? Are they also Jahiliya, like the Arabs?
Okay.
Because on that time Christianity is there already.
Okay. Okay. The human history. The human history started with Asia, because Prophet Adam alayhi salam, he started in Asia. Okay, that is a well-known history we have because of the hadith, and even from the source of the Christian and Jew sources, the Prophet Adam started to live in Asia. Okay, so the initial people living only in Asia. Okay, the Prophet Adam and his wife and his children, they started to grow up in Asia. And then they started to grow. So there was no population initially in South America. Initially it's in only Asia. North America was not populated, only Asia. And then it was, the people started to migrate to Europe and Africa. And then later, people, there was a time that the people started to go to South and North America. Okay. The Antarctica, there was no people because it's ice. The seventh continent, it's just ice only. Okay. The Australia and New Zealand, it is not considered as a continent because it's actually the part of Asia also. The Australia and New Zealand, the Fiji Island, they're considered as continent, but it's actually just an Asia only because it's a part of Asia. But they called it an Australia continent. Okay. So now, what we know the history, the time of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu 1400 years ago, the part of the Europe like Byzantine's rule and some other part of the Asia like the Persian rule, they were growing. They have some scientific knowledge and they have some culture and some education and some development. But Arabia was dead that time. But because of the Quran, they started to grow up. Yes.
That according to your explanation, like I can grasp your explanation, I can automatically grasp that there were people before Adam. Before Adam existed, there were people.
Yeah, gene only.
Meaning in North America, gene.
No, there was no people before Adam alayhi salam. Adam alayhi salam was the first human being. How comes there was a people before Adam? I did not say. I said when Adam alayhi salam grew up, there was no people all around the world. Only in Asia he started. So when he is a children, there was no other people in the world because Adam alayhi salam is started to produce children only in Asia. No people in Europe, no people in Africa, no people in Hulu Sulu also. There was no Abu Bakr in the world that time. Okay, the first man is Adam alayhi salam and his wife. And then they have a children grow up in Asia and they started to go around the world. So before Adam there was no human being, but there were some jinn. They Okay. The animals and the trees were existing before Adam. All the trees and animals, they were existing before Adam. Even all the animals and all the plants were existed before the Adam alayhi salam. So there was a purpose of that. For example, the petroleum, move the camera aside, I can talk to him. Okay. For example, why there were plants? It's not for eating, but we have a modern science today and the Quran confirms it, that Allah said in the Surah Al-Ala, سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء نحوا. Allah said that Allah bring out the pastures, the plants, and Allah make it dark stubble. So these plants which were growing for millions of years before the creation of Adam, they goes under the earth and they were become the petroleum. So the plants and the animals were working for the betterment of the earth. So earth can have all the needs of the human beings. So Allah created the animals and plants before sending Adam on earth. Before the creation of Adam, the plants and animals were existing, but no human being, not even Abu Bakr. Okay. Okay, that's okay. You are.
What do you say that science in advanced science for the Quran? Like example, an machine that will be equivalent today in the computer, or the surgical instruments that very identical.
Okay, this is because you see example. The science started with Adam alayhi salam. Because Adam alayhi salam was taught by Allah all the names, all the actions, how to produce your food, how to hunting, how to kill the animal, how to slaughter the animal, how to cook your food. This is all is science. Science is knowledge. So everything was taught to Adam, and this is all science. What I said, the modern science which we are using today, it was studied after the Quran. I did not say the science, I said the modern science. So the science was still existing before. The Greek have many scientists. The Persian have many scientists even before the Quran. So we are talking about the modern science which we are using today was started after the revelation of Quran. Okay? Yes. Alayhi salam.
As you said, nowadays Muslims are Muslims guided. What can you say about the ISIS group? Are they genuine?
We do not know about, we do not also discuss about the political matters, and we cannot judge people based on the news. Because news is not that you can judge people with the news, because news can be true and news can be manipulated. The news can be true and news can be fake. Because we do not judge people right or wrong, we do not know. And for us is not to talk about the political matters, rather we talk the matters which can make us a good human being. Because if we are going to have any opinion based on the news, because we are not seeing those actual, so we might have a wrong judgment, because news are not reliable in the world. You can see small things happen, and then there are so many different news for the same news, for the same incident. So based on the news we cannot judge people. We can only judge people when you can bring the people in the courts and there will be witnesses. And for us to avoid political matters, it's rather we can do the matters which is very important for us, to become a good believers, to become a good Muslims, and to become the good people to help all humanity, all the peoples of the world. Even they are Muslims or not Muslims, we have to give them the good examples, so we can spread the Islam peacefully in the world. Yes.
Yes, this is justified the invasion of the visit of Spain in year 711 by Karim bin Zayed.
Okay.
Because of the king Nitisa wanted help to stop the absorber watering.
Okay, you mean the conquest of Spain?
Yeah, the conquest of
Okay.
Spain.
Okay, now it's like this. Why the Muslims were bringing the conquering the lands? It is not the mission is to conquer the lands. It was not the actual mission. The actual mission is to bring the law of God, the justice. Because what happening before, like Byzantines or the Persians or other rules in the world, like in Egypt, they were abusing people. The king is living a very special life, and all the people are living like nothing. They get the money of the people and they live luxuriously. And they abuse people, they kill them, they make injustice with them. So when the Prophet Muhammad started his mission, he wanted to bring the justice to the world. The equality and no monarchy. Nobody is to right to be a king, because we believe Allah is only the king. So the Muslims wanted to bring the law of Islam, to bring the justice to the people, to bring the equality to the people.
But the visit of the Silva and the native people are repeating, and they began to fight for 700 years of war. And France stopped the invasions.
Where in?
In Spain and France. And
Yeah, they
stopped the advance of the Muslim invasion.
yeah, and then they take over also, because when the Muslim they started to luxury also. What happening in the Muslim countries today? The rulers are cheating people, so they are not Islamic countries. For example, you can see the rulers in Egypt or in Saudi Arabia or all around the world, what they are doing now. The rulers have the billions of dollars and the people have nothing. Like in Pakistan or in Bangladesh or wherever you can go in the Muslim land, the rulers are ripping off the money of the people, and the people have nothing in the world. So the Islam was given to the people of the world with the three choices. Accept the law of Allah. If you not, then we have to rule the law of Allah to bring the justice to the people. And then you have to pay the tax to the Islamic government. So if they don't accept these two conditions, either of the two conditions, the third condition is the war. So before they can start the war, they give the condition. Accept the law of Allah and become the believers, then you still rule. Rule with the justice. No usury. Get the charity, the zakat from the poor, rich, and give to the poor. So poor will be not miserable, and then all the laws of God will be followed. If you don't want to do this, then you have no rule. You have no need to rule your rule, but the rule of God. So we'll do that. We will implement the rule of God, the justice. And then you have to pay the tax to the Islamic government. If they do not accept either the two, the third condition was to fight. So they conquered, like Tariq bin Ziyad, the Gibraltar, the place where he landed his ship, and they burn all the ships, and they go inside the Spain and they conquer the Spain, and they bring the justice there to the people. The people were suffering, then they stopped suffering. But when the Muslims started to luxurious in Spain, and they were abusing people, and there is no justice and no equality, so Allah punished them, and then the Christian took over again the Spain. So that's all. So maybe this finished now? Okay, the last question. Yes, okay, yes.
Yeah, Jabir was the father of the modern chemistry.
Yeah, correct. The Jabir bin Hayyan is known as the father of chemistry.
Yes, he isolated the element antimony. But because before in the hadith, it says there that he used the antimony used the coal in the eyes and medicine for the headache or in your stomach. And scientific today, it's considered a toxic element. The antimony.
Antimony coming from?
It's like the chemical compound called.
Okay, you see, you cannot judge this, okay? Because for example, I give you the example. I'm in the medicine business, no? Every year you get the book of the medicine, there are hundreds of medicine are discontinued. Today, modern science. You are living in 2014. Every year, hundreds of medicine are discontinued by the world. What you call about this? Because we are human beings, we can be mistaken. We can always be correct ourselves. And it is not necessarily, for example, the one doctor said this medicine is wrong, but the other doctor said this medicine is right. So it can be also difference of opinion. So when you read about somebody is saying that it is a toxic element, maybe he can be wrong. Maybe he don't have the much knowledge. Or maybe Jabir bin Hayyan can be wrong because he is a human being. He researched because Quran commanded him to research. But he can be wrong in his research also. Because there was no every formulation in the Quran, in the Hadith. In the Quran and Hadith is the invitation of research. And there are some points which you can use to make your research on right way. But sometimes you can go wrong way because of your own opinion. So Jabir bin Hayyan can be wrong in some of his opinion. It's not necessary that he should be always right. But he was inspired by the Quran and he produces the 200 chemicals. And in fact, he is known as the father of chemistry. Father of chemistry. And then the last knowledge I can share. When Tariq bin Ziyad was entered to Spain, the place he anchored, this known as the Gibraltar. The Gibraltar meaning is a Jabal Tariq. Jabal Tariq. So this is known as, for many hundred years it was known as Jabal Tariq, means the mountain of Tariq. The mountain where Tariq landed. But today they change it to Gibraltar. Gibraltar means Jabal Tariq. They just make tar. They remove the IQ. So that was a place where Tariq bin Ziyad he anchored and then he went inside the Spain. Before he told his commanders to burn all the ships. They say, why to burn the ships? Because we might have to run away if we cannot conquer. He said, no, if you have the ship, you always think of run away. But if you have no ship, you have to just go and finish yourself or either to conquer. So it was his intelligence. He burned all the ships. So people will just go forward, not backward anymore. Because they have no way to run. They have no ship to run. So may Allah guide us. May Allah help us. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, Allah Akbar. La ilaha illallah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. Rabbana atina fi dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Ameen. Our Lord, give us good in this world and good in the hereafter. Save us from hellfire and enter to us in Jannatul Firdaus in paradise. Ameen. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين.